right, I've got 5 o'clock. We'll call it a solid waste committee meeting to order. Commissioner White, would you mind leading us in prayer, sir?
Yeah, let's bow our heads. Heavenly Father, thank you so much for allowing us to gather here this evening to do your work for our community. Lord, help us take action to represent those that elected us, Lord. Let us serve well, serve honorably. Lord God, keep us safe as we leave here. Bless our families. And Lord, we love you and give you all the glory and all the honor. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
All right, roll call, please.
Dakota White.
Here.
Tay Austin. Becky Golden. Here. Jordan Coe.
Here.
Chris Merson.
Here.
Roger Mason.
Here.
Larry Daniels.
Here.
We have a quorum, Mr. Chairman.
Next item on the agenda is approval of the report from January 6th Solid Waste Committee meeting. You received that in email
I'll make a motion
with
to
the
approve,
agenda.
sir.
I'll second that.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Next item on the agenda is old business. Anybody have any old business that needs to come before us here?
Yeah, I've got a question right there. So when we had the landfill right here is, we had to put money aside, like $1 million and maybe a 500 million or something. You know what I'm saying? I'm asking that question. Where's this money gone to? Since we don't own the landfill no more?
We still have a solid waste. We still have to manage solid waste. So we had a I don't, Chad's not up here, but I'll answer.
Yeah, there he
Oh,
is,
yes.
right there.
He's double duty.
So, so we had he's asking about the money from Waste Management. So we had a solid waste budget every year, and the landfill operation was part of that solid waste budget. That budget's still there because we still have to manage solid waste, convenience centers, and the hauling of trash is still in it. So that money, that's where that money goes at this point, is my understanding.
Yes, that's correct. So when we initially, are you talking about the money we got when we sold the landfill?
No, the money that we had when we were running the landfill, that we had to have so much in the bank to operate.
That was the problem. So we never had the money. We were supposed to have the money, and the state allowed us to put up, essentially, we could bond it and say that they could take our sales tax revenue and stuff like that they collect on our behalf if we failed to meet our obligations, that they could take it that way. But we never had the money in the bank, and that was the problem. They essentially wanted us to have the money in the bank, and we didn't. So
Okay.
that money,
You're talking about the post-closure
Yeah.
contingency.
Mhm.
Yeah.
so that was kind of the deal with it.
And Chad, that had been, I mean, at least every year I've been on commission, that had been one of our audit findings.
Oh, yeah.
Stating that we didn't have the post-closure money.
Okay.
Yeah, that we didn't have the money there.
Gotcha.
There
gotcha.
wasn't actually a fund there to support it. Any other old business? Under new business, I've got one bit of information that I'll share that Executive Robinson's working on. It's working on a memorandum of understanding for glass recycling. It's the way I understand it, still in the negotiation phases.
Yes, correct. Y'all will have to vote on it when I get it finalized, but just wanted to get.
They've sent him a beginning outline for a memorandum of understanding. It's basically $10 a ton for recycled glass to recycle. But again, I believe there were some issues with the original, or with the first proposal that they made back for us. So Dwayne's still negotiating that, but when he does have that for us, it's just something to be aware of, that it'll come before solid waste and we'll have to vote on it. Right.
The only thing I had is, I did want to ask if there was any updates on those grants that we had approved you to apply for. One was a tire recycling grant, and the other was a convenience center grant. Do we have any updates on those?
We are working with the development district to get those through.
Okay.
I forgot her name. Brooke, what's her name?
Lisa Lovins.
Lisa Love. Yeah,
Okay.
she's actually the one that
Any other new business? All right, the calendar update, Tuesday, February the 18th at 6 o'clock will be full court. Monday, March the 3rd will be the next solid waste committee meeting. I'd entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion.
All in favor, say aye. So moved.
What we do?
Is this it?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, we'll go ahead and open the steering committee A, meeting for February. Roll call.
Kane Rogers,
Here.
TK Austin, Becky Golden,
Here.
Lanny Selby.
Here.
Thomas Markison, Derek Hutchins,
Here.
Larry Daniels.
Here.
You have a quorum, Mr. Chairman.
All right, first item on the agenda, is approval of report from the January 6th meeting.
Make a motion.
Second.
Got a motion by Derek, second by Becky. Any further discussion on the minutes? Those in favor, say aye. Opposed? Minutes are approved. Item 4 on the agenda, is regards to the David Kelly, the sign, and the Parks and Rec Committee did not meet, so they're gonna have another month before they bring something back to us on that.
Just table it to next month, put it
Yep.
on the agenda for
So-
next month.
I don't think we need any action on that, it'll just, come back up next month. Item 5, approval of road list.
It was in our,
Yep. That was in the
it was
packet.
in the packet.
This is,
I've
the-
got a hard copy or two.
this is for the 2025 county road list.
So we've had a lot of
discussion and issues with unapproved roads? I mean, what would happen if we didn't approve the road list?
Nothing. It used to be the state law that you had to approve it every January, and that went away about 2 years ago. They want you to do one every so many years to make sure that you're looking at and keeping it updated. There is no action that happens
If you don't
if
approve
you
it?
don't approve it.
There's no way to do anything with the unapproved roads to, I mean, things,
That's what we talked about it last year, about
No.
approving, to see if we, the problem is at some point in the past, it was approved and it wasn't right.
They go back to the latest one.
then it falls back to last approved. I'll make a motion to approve the road
Second.
list.
Motion by Derek, second by Lanny. Any further discussion on the road list? Those in favor, say aye. Opposed? All right, road list is approved. Item 6 on the agenda, old business. Got anything? Denny? No? All right, we'll move on into new business. Okay.
Oh, boy.
All right. Actually, just a really couple of things to just update you on. We don't need to stand, Chad, we might go. You can, am I good? Okay. First of all was the, issue with the lease between TDEC, State Parks Division, and the Chamber of Commerce. We're looking forward, looking to move that forward. The lease will have to be with the county since the county owns the building. TDEC is working on, they've got a formula that they play market value per square foot. They'll get that rolled up, present me with the MOU or contract, and then I'll obviously bring that back to y'all. That looks like that's gonna move forward.
At least with TDEC and what is it?
TDEC State Parks
State
Division.
Park, okay.
State Park Division. It's going to be kind of, until they decide where the welcome visitor center is gonna be for the state park, they're gonna operate out there. Which, the way it's looking, that's probably gonna be 3 or 4 or 5 years commitment. But anyway, nonetheless,
Where would that, and that was at the,
they're gonna be in the chamber.
in the chamber side of the
In
old
chamber side, yes.
bank?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. And there was some talk about whether, they would pay that lease to the, chamber or to the county. For them to pay it to the chamber, we'd have to go through and modify our
Agreement, because we
lease.
released them for $1, right, or
Yeah,
something?
so it's a lot easier if we just make that deal with them and move forward with it.
Mhm.
Parks, scenic river access, that Ms. Satterfield came to visit me this week. We've kind of dropped the ball a little bit on that access, but that's back in play. We've got all the paperwork just about done. Still a few more things, but that, hopefully that looks like that's gonna be moving forward pretty soon. She may update the Parks Rec Committee, I don't know if she'll be planning to do that or not, but I want y'all to know. Third thing, kind of new business came in today, that y'all probably want to refer back to the Parks and Rec Committee, but I wanted to let y'all know about it. It is a proposal for the disc golf signage and kiosks. And I have pictures. I don't like this not having a table, I'm sorry.
I put all this in order, I thought. Here it is.
Y'all can kind of see what they're proposing to plan. But basically, you have, this is a quote. We have designed a welcome sign kiosk, including the full map of the course and some other information, including a general design of the kiosk made of pressure treated material. That the sign will be installed. Quote for the sign is, looks like it's gonna be around, right at $2,000. And he'll pass that down. And like I say, y'all
motion on that?
Unless y'all wanna just go ahead and do it.
No.
No, that wouldn't be.
Okay, just let them take it out.
Send it to the subcommittee.
Okay.
Parks and Rec. That's all I have for,
I did have something too, Kane. I got a call, a couple weeks ago. Somebody's been in there with a four-wheeler, not archery stuff, but I think they might have been over on that piece of it too, that they've been up there tearing up jack with an OP. And they had a big pile of mulch out there to work around the pads and stuff on the disc golf thing and that kind of stuff, and they run through the pile of mulch and tore it up. Of course, it was after the fact, you know,
Mhm.
they weren't down there then, so it's, I mean, it's kinda hard. I don't really know what to do. I told the guy, it was Austin, he said it was, called me. And I didn't really know what to do, I mean.
well, the things
it's already
I've done, it's been a few months ago, so if y'all remember, y'all approved, we did a grant to get, Wi-Fi down there at that.
That's what I was thinking, yeah.
So, as soon as that, and they are in the process, they're working on it. We can start putting up surveillance cameras and
Yeah.
stuff too.
That'd be good.
They'll care when they get charged for that.
They need to, yeah. Just something new, Parks and Rec wise, Stephen Clark with Waste Management got back with us, on an estimate, to bring the field, up to par, and the estimate is, $31,663.93. So that's just an FYI. I think he's planning on trying to be at the Parks and Rec meeting, this month, to kind of discuss some stuff.
Mhm.
Is that part of the proposed $50,000?
He did not say anything about that. No. No, you're fine. Yeah. Yeah.
Do we figure anything out about bathrooms for the archery side, that direction?
We haven't.
I got,
We haven't had, we talked about grant, trying to find a grant opportunity to do something. Down there, we also were getting some quotes for, over there at the tennis courts too.
I got something, Jenny. Has there been any updates on if they're still, I think they've already acquired it, but the veteran cemetery?
Let me go back through my mind here. My understanding is it's been acquired, I think you know that, and they're waiting on, federal approval, federal funding. It's been federally approved, and it's on the list, and every year it goes through, and then they go down, they got so much money, and they stop, and we've not made that cut yet. Maybe this year.
Yeah, the reason someone asked me recently, and I said, I think there's still a plan.
There's still a plan,
Yeah.
we're waiting on federal funding. You know, and there's some back and forth a little bit. The state of Tennessee, made an offer a couple of years ago, so it's still good, to help fund that if the federal government would move it up the list, and federal government wouldn't participate in that. And we've reached out to the senator and congressman, trying to get them to take that, that would help pay for, we, state, not the
Mhm.
county, would help fund that, if they would move up the list. Still waiting on that.
Yeah, it's gonna be a big deal. It's just
Yeah.
seeing it come to fruition.
Yep.
Kind of on the same lines, the Rock House, have we heard anything about the state buying property from us at the Rock House?
I've had 2 calls on it, had one a month, 6 weeks ago, another one probably 3 weeks ago, it's going through the fund, so whatever process it goes through.
You must have read my mind. I was just gonna ask
Can we go back to the sign
Yeah.
at the, I know, how close is Parks and Rec on pulling the trigger on a sign, and where are we at on that? I know there's been a bunch of back and forth from.
Zero.
Zero.
We had a plan, and we had a quote, we had a bid, we had everything in place ready to pull the trigger, and it fell apart at the last meeting.
Right,
So,
and then we had one, then we had another gentleman come in, present another sign that was half the cost and better pixels, better everything, for half the price. Well, then we had a lot of complaints about spending even that much on a sign.
That was what, around
Well,
55 and then
Well, then
25?
20.
yeah, we were gonna submit it we were gonna submit that as part of the project for waste management, was the plan. And so that had been, for months, had been the plan to use that as at least part of the project for that annual deal that we have with them. And then that fell apart, and so now we don't have a plan for that or the sign.
We're on a time crunch for that for
Mhm.
June, end of June.
That was the comment that I made in the Parks and Rec meeting, that we were rapidly running out of time to submit a proposal to Waste Management for something.
I personally would like to see, a more conservative sign, and if we could get some more, if they're willing to put some more funding into the facility itself down there,
And I'm okay with that too, but we've gotta, if that's what we want our proposal to be, then we need to go that direction and fast. I mean, that's my opinion. We need to get the ball rolling, if that's what we wanna do, and I'm okay with that. But you gotta have something, we keep back and forth and until we're not gonna have anything.
Yep.
Mhm.
I agree.
I can't recall, did this committee, have we sent a suggestion, a formal motion on amount?
At the last meeting, at the last meeting, TK had said that he was tired of,
Okay,
and that he wanted something done at the next meeting, or he was gonna bring it back to here and do it, and do it within this committee, and then we did not meet with Parks and Rec, because it was on a Tuesday, because of the holiday. There were several that couldn't be there, we weren't gonna have a quorum, so we'll meet this month, and hopefully have an answer.
For the road thing. I've been talking to a lady, which, you talked to her, and Jerry's talked to her. This lady has been landlocked out of her, from this road, Sanders Mills Road, down in Three Island, for 6 years. I don't really know the whole story. Jerry's talked to her, Jerry's talked to her. Is there any way we can get this lady to her property? I mean, I know Derek's tried, and Jerry's tried, and Junior, I
To
think
see-
we.
She needs to get her attorney.
yeah, that's what I was thinking.
It's my understanding that there's already a lawsuit,
Yeah.
there's a lawsuit with the surrounding property owners or something.
Yeah, it's been on 6 years going on thing.
6 years.
Yeah, she's been able to go on for 6 years.
She said she initially got put off because of COVID. It's what she told me, that when they filed it, and they've had pre-trial diversion several times, and
How does that go through planning? How does that go through the planning commission and wind up with a landlocked property?
That's built 5 acres.
Yeah,
It's 100
109.
yeah,
101.
Planning commission is 5 acres.
that's,
State of West Ringling, anything over 5 acres.
I got you. Where is it on that?
that's it, that's exactly one, that's exactly.
You can't talk to property, so, but I can imagine why her lot is all 6 years.
Yeah.
That's what I heard.
You have to have an easement or some sort of.
Hmm.
And Dale Bilberry, he logged it years in like 92, and he used that road, and he maintained that road. And
Muscle,
now they got a
does it
fence
in
up
there?
and stuff, he
Saunders
knew
Mill,
what he was doing.
does her property begin there at the gate at the Saunders Mill?
Well, no, there's like a, how far is it, Jerry?
So she's got about 75 yards between the end of that and where her property starts, and there's another property between it. Now, the deed, her deed states that it starts at the end of the old county road. Now, this is back in like 1977, so it's the same problem we had in our town. They shrunk the county road back about a quarter of a mile, so now it says it's supposed to be at the end of that county road, well, she's 100 yards away from town. So now these people that live in between them, after they moved guns and everything else, kept them out there for this long. And all I can do is measure what I have and tell her what I have, you know. What I did tell her though is Bill did log it, and if they did have that logging easement, they had that on paper, you take that to court, it should be close enough, you go and dig it. You can't just take an easement away and give it back and take it away, you know, you either have it or you don't, you know.
Yeah, I talked to her after that, I told her that Dale said that he would go do wherever he could.
Hmm. Anything else? Calendar update, next, full court meetings Tuesday, the 21st of this month, and then the steering committee A will again meet March 3rd, Monday, right here. February, yeah, that's not right. I don't even know what month I'm in.
So I do,
Full court's February 18th.
18th.
February
due to the
18th,
holiday.
yeah, okay,
Yeah.
we got that notated. All right,
Do you want to talk about
I do, I would like to bring that up. So, full court this month got moved to Tuesday because Monday's a holiday.
mhm,
We have the meeting in Nashville, commissioners, what's it called, the name of the? County Government Days in Nashville, which is that Monday and Tuesday. I know several of us are going to that. So I have concerns that we may not make it back in time Tuesday afternoon to be able to have a full court meeting.
and this is
The
the
18th.
18th.
Mm-hmm.
That starts district.
It starts at night.
Yeah, that Thursday. Wednesday.
So then after district tournament starts on the 19th, and your guys are gonna be, what if we moved it to a
Yeah, I'd be okay.
Thursday night, if we,
No, that's worse.
That's worse. That's what I'm gonna say.
If you did it the next Monday, what's the next one?
The 24th.
That only gives us 3 days.
I was gonna say,
to
that
get
is
the-
good, or thing in,
gives us till, what was the proposal? It was February 18th, and we were talking about possibly moving it to Monday, the 24th. And we can't, and that what was the problem with that?
barely enough time for,
The committee agendas go out.
The
3
Thursday
days after
before,
that.
yeah.
Which I mean, I guess is.
Oh, yeah, for March the
But-
3rd.
Yeah,
Mhm.
no, 'cause the committee meetings would be the following Monday. If you have full court on the 24th, then committees would be March 3rd. Probably even worse, they won't be in Nashville.
But they'll be in Nashville.
Would,
We could probably get the agendas out in 3 days. Just anything that goes from full court, if something was to get sent back to the committee, it'd probably have to come up under a business or something for the next on the agenda.
the Republican Party meets that Monday too, typically.
They meet at 6, don't they, Saturday?
They meet at 6. Mm-hmm. You may be opposed to move it to 7?
It's gonna be, David, Kyle, you, and Robert's all coming.
Yeah, we can push the time back.
I think we get out at 12, though.
Well, I think our meeting's on, but that's where they want you to go to.
Are we?
Go
meeting-
visit.
Are we going to,
You go to the Hill and
do you
visit.
have those scheduled?
I do not. That's when they want you to get the deal.
Yeah.
So there's 4 of us, that would be,
That would leave 8 or 9.
there's always 2 or 3 that seems like something happens here, there, or yonder, that people can't come.
As long as you got 8.
Would anybody be opposed to moving it to 7 o'clock? Need to make a motion to move it to 7 o'clock?
Would we do that in committee?
Yeah, it's up to the chairman. I think you've got that.
I have the authority just to move it to 7.
I think that you need to do that. Remember, do it Monday. No, you just make an announcement, announce it.
Well, we're announcing it now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Send it out.
Okay.
Okay,
I'm gonna move it to 7.
okay. Anything else?
All right.
Motion adjourned. Second?
We'll call, steering committee B to order. As soon as, okay. Roll call, Ms. Brooke. Hang on, I can't get this thing. Hang
Chris
on.
Burrington,
Here.
David Cranford,
Here.
Robert McCormick, Dakota White,
Here.
Marty Poe,
Here.
Roger Mason,
Here.
Kyle Gall.
Here.
You have a quorum, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Next item on the agenda is approval of the steering committee B report from January the 6th. You received that on email. I'd entertain a motion to approve those minutes.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor, say aye. Minutes are approved. Next item on the agenda is discussion on policy and procedure for the animal shelter, and Executive Robinson has handed everybody a copy. Do you have another one of those? And just to clarify, the animal shelter falls under the purview of the executive, and he is at will to make policy and procedure changes as he sees fit, hiring and staffing decisions, just as he would when we were operating the landfill or anything else that falls under his purview. So I'm not asking for any action on this, other than he's presented us with his intention for policy and procedure there at the shelter, asking us to review it and provide input if we had any issues with anything that he's presenting. And we'll spread on minutes that we have reviewed it, and any discussion that took place based on that. And I'll open it up to you guys if you have any questions or
Well, I know I just
comments.
handed this to you, kind of short and sweet there. Basically, what I would like input on is the days that I have listed. I think the scope of it and the framework of it, pretty self-explanatory. I don't think we can improve on that much, but the days and stuff that I have in there, y'all might want to comment on or something. That's kind of what I was looking at.
in comparison, the 150 days is what is in this policy, and the city's policy is 12 days, I believe.
Only thing I see I'd like to talk about is the minimum, the days. If someone's on vacation for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, I could see going to 21 days on that versus 14. That's my personal opinion, because a lot of people leave the county, state, whatever, and are gone for a month or whatever, and I think.
I'm good, I agree with sharing stuff. But the next paragraph, I do have on there, dogs with any sign of ownerships, for example, microchip, collars, tag, any other identifiable markings, must be held for 4 weeks, 28 days to allow for owners. Unidentified stray dogs, dogs with no identification, ownership markings, would be less. But now, if you want to move it all up.
Well,
I'm good
what
with
you-
28 days. I just think 14 days, because
What
a
you
lot of
don't
people
want-
leave for that amount of time.
What you don't want happen is you don't want somebody adopting somebody's dog. You don't want somebody adopting somebody's dog, going on vacation, and then the dog gets picked up, and then the dog gets adopted out, and all that kind of stuff.
I think 21 and 28 would be what I would feel comfortable saying.
And it goes back to what we've talked about, but we don't have clear guidelines, and
This is a good start.
I mean, we're gonna have
Good start.
to have clear guidelines as far as capacity and those type things, as unfortunate as it is.
What was the shelter originally designed to hold? House 16? Before,
Well, it had 16 pins. So
before everything was added on, and I think it goes back to 16 dogs.
Well, he's got 30 is what he's got in this policy.
The addition, coverage, and the heating seems to be working out, so I don't think there's a problem with housing extra ones.
Probably gonna be there though for long term though. That's the thing, we'd have to build to house 30 going forward rather than what we originally started with. I mean, 30 is a good number, I mean, if you wanna leave it at 30, but
When that time comes and we start planning and appropriating funds to build something new, if we don't build room for 30, I definitely will have to amend the policy.
Well, and keep,
I mean, that's a good idea though.
keep in mind too that one of the discussions in the last work session was the need for animal control, and the animal control officer to be a post-certified position. And if that animal control officer is a post-certified officer, then that would fall under the purview of the sheriff's department. And so those conversations between Benny Wayne and Sheriff Page have to happen, and that changes the whole complexity of what you're doing from a county standpoint. And really what it boils down to whether or not we're operating as animal control or we're operating as a county taxpayer-funded shelter. And I'm not saying one way's right, one way's wrong, but that's the decision that's gonna have to be made before we leave that property down there at Waste Management, is which direction the county is gonna go. And if the county goes in the purely animal control direction, then that would likely be a post-certified officer that would fall under the sheriff's department, and you would have animal control, and then your shelter and those type things would fall under private nonprofit organizations. We also had conversations about if that were the way it transpired, that there could be discussions about financial support from the county to nonprofits. We do that every year in the budgeting cycle. Volunteer fire departments, rescue squad, YMCA, senior center. So at some point, that decision is gonna have to be made, which direction the county's gonna go and how that's gonna look.
I think we need to make that decision before we move. I think we need to make that decision
But it
and
has
get
to
a
be-
policy and procedure. I think we need to do something
It has to be made
in that
before
order
we
and
move.
get it going and get it in place and get it working in the direction we're gonna go. I think we need to get that going.
Cause it's really two separate operations. The shelter operation is a shelter operation, and your spay and neuter, and your spay, neuter, shelter, adoption, that's one function. And then the animal control is where you get calls for bites and strays and those other things. And I think part of our problem with where we're at is we're trying to combine both of those things, and it muddies the water up. Again, I'm not saying which way is the right way to go, but I think those are two options that we're gonna have to consider, and we're gonna have to make a decision before we leave.
I'm
Know where
personally
we're going.
leaning more towards the animal control and then doing a donation to a nonprofit shelter as a county, and not getting mixed up again where we're having to expand and do things like that. I think we'd be better off doing a animal control through White County and then donating to a shelter yearly.
Well, there's no doubt.
A nonprofit
Yeah,
organization.
there's no doubt that that what the job that these ladies do, they do a much better job than what a government entity can do. Again, it's because of what the direction is, where are you going? If you're just getting dogs off the street, then you're not focused on the same things that they're focused on, which is rescue.
As a county, though, we could build a shelter as big as this courthouse, and it's still not gonna benefit. We're gonna have to have policy, procedure. I just personally think we need to lean toward a control. And then if they wanna do a humane society or however they wanna do it, we donate to it yearly, a certain amount.
There's a lot of things, there is a lot of things to consider too. There is a fund there. There's a, I guess, I don't know if you call it endowment or whatever it is, from the money that was bequeathed from the individual. So that fund, in my opinion, would be transferred to whatever nonprofit that, however that worked out, but that's there, that makes things a little more complicated. And I think those conversations about the post-certified officer, I think that has to happen. I'm thinking of things that would have to happen before this committee can make a decision. I think that there has to be some kind of agreement between you and Steve on transferring that officer and funding that position in his budget, and then the money that's there, how that would look like, because there's more than one nonprofit operating in the county that deals with animal rescue. And so how do you pick, how do you pick, you know, there's more than one, there's at least 3 organizations that are 501c3s that in the county. So, right. And so how do you pick, like if you say, okay, we're gonna give you guys this $75,000, maybe we do this or that to help build a shelter. The 501c3 runs the shelter, and the county operates animal control. We follow the guidelines. If the nonprofit comes and gets the dogs and transfers them to the shelter to get them adopted out, or whatever that process looks like, it's very complicated. It's not as easy as making a decision to say we're going to go this direction or that direction. I think.
How are we operating now with not a post-certified officer doing it?
You can't cite anybody in court, you can't write any citation, anything like that.
Could we not still do what we're doing and let when it comes to that big of an issue, wouldn't the sheriff's department step in at that time, that would become their job at that time, whether you had a post-certified officer or not? Wouldn't that become their job? I mean,
well, it is already. That's one of the things we talked about in that work session. It's a high percentage of their calls. A high percentage of their calls now are nuisance animals.
But I mean, if Mike Sparks goes out and catches someone's dog and it's not on their property, he don't have to be post-certified to do that, does he?
No.
So why not do like we're doing without a post-certified officer? We're not. I mean, let him take care of the writing the tickets and arrest or whatever for.
Well, it's just when they get those calls, the sheriff's department, they call us.
They call.
Yeah, and that's see, that it's came up in these conversations that we've been having for the last couple of years too. Is part of the problem with the population of strays is the fact that there's no enforcement. That's part of the problem. Is if I go to your house, if I'm continuously coming to your house and picking up stray animals that's running all around on your neighbor's place, Mike Sparks doesn't have any authority to do anything except come down there and get the animal. So he's just picking them up and piling them in the shelter. If you had a post-certified officer, he comes and he writes you a citation for having a animal off your property on somebody else, creating a nuisance or chasing cows or whatever it is. They get calls every day. That's what they're dealing with. That's where that comes in, is the accountability piece. And then you start, if you're able to hold people accountable for what they're doing with their animals, then you can start working on this population that's out of control. And as we stand now, we can't do that.
As a common rule of thumb, and that doesn't mean we gotta do it because everybody else is doing it, but a common rule of thumb for the counties is the sheriff's department handles animal control.
Have you talked to Paige about this?
I have not talked to Paige personally, but.
We've talked to some of his guys.
We talked to some of his guys at the work session.
He, I don't think he'll take it.
I've talked to him too. I think that he will if it's structured right.
Yeah, I mean, nobody wants something just dumped on them,
No,
dumped in their lap.
and we shouldn't want to do that.
No.
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 What, the 70,000 or 65, whatever's left in the donated money, what is the, what was that, what is that ear tagged to? I know it was, is it,
Ear tag to the animals.
correct?
Now, the lady passed away, she's not come and talked to me before this. She donated money, so I don't know really what her mindset was. But I think it should be something that honors her memory, honors that. I think it needs to be something that is a building with a name on it or something like that. I don't think we just need to turn that money over and say, and it needs to be buy dog food or pay help for the next 5 or 6. I think it needs to be a lasting structure that honors again.
I agree with that.
I agree. How many nonprofits are they now that do that around here?
Three.
Where are they located at?
They're volunteer, they don't have a place. There's not a place, Jordan.
Correct. Is it in White County?
Yes.
Yes, there's POPS, which totally supports the shelter. They do medical treatment, they pay for spays and neuters, they buy vaccinations when needed, they, medical treatment for animals. They totally support the dogs at the shelter. The White County Humane Society does one thing and one thing only, spay and neuter assistance. We have spayed and neutered 12,000 animals since we started. We feel supporting the shelter by prevention. We prevent a litter of puppies from being born, it's not gonna end up at the shelter. Then the other group is the Friends of White County Animals. Their primary mission is to help people keep their animals in their homes. If somebody can't afford to buy dog food, somebody can't afford to pay for their vet bill, so they'll help them with that, rather than having them send their dogs to the shelter. The main mission is keep your dog within your home. None of us is really, I mean, indirectly, we support the shelter. Indirectly, we all support the shelter. But we're not involved in the day-to-day operations.
Thank you.
And I think you do better, then that's what my point was a minute ago, is the organizations like that do a better job with that type of stuff than what a government entity does. So, long story short, it's February, we got a 5-year lease down there, beginning, started in what, 2024? July 24, something like that. So in July, we'll have 1 year of that gone, we've got 4 more years.
You've got a building that's in pretty good shape now.
Yeah,
That is warmer.
I know it, and I'm afraid we're not gonna be, I'm afraid that, I don't know. There might be some negotiation that where they would continue to lease that, as a shelter to a nonprofit. I don't know that, that's a conversation that would have to be had.
I don't know that, but I think that bridge has been burned.
Just a solution. None of these 3 nonprofits
we need to go towards animal control for White County and speak to Page, Sheriff Page, to see what he will work with us on, but I think we need to go towards animal control and help out I mean, if we can, help them out with yearly donations. This looks good. I just think the 21 days would be, I'd feel more comfortable with it.
Anybody else got any questions, comments, or concerns?
Mr. Chairman, I just like to, I think you kinda hit on it a little bit. We need a vision going forward, and like David said, the current ones that we have in place now are not interested in running a shelter on their own. I feel like we need to set a hard line in the sand. If we're gonna move with animal control and not shelter, draw a hard line in the sand, 2 years, 3 years. When the lease is up down there, we need an extended amount of time for somebody to come in that has the ability to do that and transition over. Because who's there now has no interest in it. If there's another group out there, give them time to come forward and get facilities ready, and we can transition over, or it's just gonna be what we have. It's just gonna be it's like the city. They'll come in for their 14, 21, 28 days, and they'll be using us.
And I mean, I don't think that's anybody's
I don't think anybody wants that, but I don't think we can make that decision this month or next month. I don't think it would be fair to make that decision the next month or two before the next budget cycle starts, saying, next budget in 25, we're gonna automatically convert over to, animal control, and with no plan forward for any, I mean, it would go straight to euthanization if nobody's there to.
But the capacity policy and stuff that he just gave us helps.
For sure.
The only thing I was mentioning about a promotion or something, you know, can we have it done by July 1st? No, I mean, you're right, that's gonna be pushed. But we don't, I'm not getting, this board needs to vote and say, this is the direction we want this to go. Now, this may be a 2-year window of getting it accomplished, but I don't wanna work for 6 months on one thing and not knowing, if you're gonna fund it, you're not gonna fund it, what, I mean, I just, that's why I was saying something about emotion. I know, this is what we're gonna do, this is our plan.
I don't think it's too early now, even with a 4-year lease, to start thinking about whether it be a shelter, or whatever, control, but we need to start thinking about getting our own facility somewhere. I'm not saying don't burn up the 4 years, but we need to start thinking about that so we can get a facility in place, get it built, get everything done.
But when you start planning on looking at the facility, I need to know, are we going to just be animal control, or are we going to be shelter? I agree, but, that's what I'm saying.
Do you need a motion tonight to start?
We
to
don't
put-
have to be
No.
right, but at some
What
point.
I wanna do is I wanna put it on the agenda for next month and have a discussion, and the specific agenda item would be a discussion regarding the direction of animal control for the county.
Do you think we could invite Sheriff Page to come and speak with us and talk to us about that? Or do you think that'd be better to do
I think it's
out of, you think that'd be better to do out of
I think I need, or a couple of us need to have a conversation first, before you bring me to a hot seat.
I agree.
all right, so we'll have that on the agenda for next month. Next item on our agenda is the discussion on the permit fee. And you have some copies of that too, sir. This is something that's could lead to some action from the committee. We have to get you one. I got one of them little green school
Let's
desks.
say, you got one of those school desks,
I do.
arm thing that he
Yeah,
can.
I do. I do have if you would,
Please.
if you would, please.
All right.
Which version is this, 2018?
2012, I think.
Is it 12?
Yes, pretty sure. The city says 18, but I could have swore he told me 12.
Did he base this off
The
the
email
Cumberland?
that he sent
Email
me,
says this is the fee schedule on top from the 2012 ICC IRC.
Okay, that's what I thought too, but it
He-
says right here,
he sent that.
2000,
Oh,
2018 international,
Residential code.
okay.
It's the 2018,
Okay, value table, okay, I think I've got it. You're looking at 2012 fee structure. You've got two elements to this. You have the fee structure, and then you've got how you determine what that fee structure, determine the value of that fee structure. The actual permit fee, I'm pretty sure, I will double check, but I'm pretty sure he told me this was 2012. But the table that you use to determine the dollar amount, okay, the fee structure is based on the total cost to build the home,
Which is what we're on right now.
which is what we're on right now. And that's
And-
pretty much what everybody's on. I was trying, listen, I took a few minutes to try to explain this to Brooke so that I could practice this. And,
Perfect.
I got her lost, and then I get myself lost, but you've got two different things, two different things. One is the fee schedule. It is based on the dollar amount of the house, what it costs to build that house. All right. Now, how you determine the value of building a house is the second part of this. Okay, right now, well, we changed it, it has been that the honor system, the person walks up and says, I can build this house for X amount of dollars. You took that X amount of dollars, you went over to the fee schedule, and that's what you charge the permit. All right. What this does is comes up with a way to determine, when they come in, they tell you how many square foot,
It's a price per square foot.
price per square foot. And if, you look on that second page, 2008, which says 2018 International Building Codes, you go down to R, three.
Three.
All right, so somebody comes in and says, I'm building a 100,000 square foot house, you would multiply 100,000 square foot by 130.
It's a big old house.
Well, easy numbers for me to do.
1,000 square
Okay,
foot.
1,000 square foot house, yeah, 1,000 square foot house, you multiply that by 130.58, and that gives you your construction cost. It's no longer just what I said, then when you get that construction cost, then you go back over to the fee schedule and look where that construction cost comes in on the,
All right.
on the fee, and that's the biggest charge.
And it's
I'm
kinda like
following
our,
that.
it's kinda like our, property
y'all-
tax.
Do their job.
it's
Yeah,
a,
I didn't have the chart.
Y'all follow me?
it is a very good system and it keeps everyone on the same page.
They're on the same page.
And it's conservative.
You couldn't build a house for $130 a square foot, what it
No.
says,
No.
but that's 2018, so.
And,
Even then.
basically, we got this sheet on the back here that, it's got there's only basically two things that we're gonna be looking at right now, until we go to residential. I mean, until we go to, commercial, and that is R three, which is $130 square foot. And then, down here, where it says utility and miscellaneous, that's gonna be your garages, carports, decks, I think he also told me probably remodels, stuff like that, not when you're adding.
Additions.
Additions. So you're gonna have two things, you're gonna have R three for that's new construction. That's gonna be $130.58 per square foot. And then you're gonna have the second one, which is, utility, that's gonna be, garages, carports, additions. That's gonna be the two things you have, but then you take the square footage of, whether it's gonna be addition or square footage is a new thing, multiply it by that price, and then when you get that price, that goes to
fee schedule.
That makes sense.
It says, so technically, we're charging, technically, we're kind of charging by square foot, but but the permit's issued by building cost.
You just
adopted-
you gotta have a standard way to, estimate building costs.
Yes.
We adopted what the state had. You could
Yeah.
tell them you're just building a house for $50,000 and
Now, yeah, exactly.
that's what your permit's based on. This is just the residential side. Did anybody look at roughly where the numbers would change to if, the yearly numbers would change to if we adopted this?
If the year numbers, y'all would have to vote to change it, it'll be right here.
I mean, did anybody ever run the numbers on what we did last year versus if we changed this, what we would do based on this schedule?
I don't know that we've officially run the numbers, but, Brett told me that this would probably give us I won't be conservative here and say 50% increase. I think he told me it's gonna be closer to 75, but I don't know if this works out.
So if we did 50%, it'd put us about 225 roughly a year.
Probably, I do have the numbers that we did last year.
Was it 153?
That sounds right.
So if we did 50%, that'd put us around 225, 226.
Yeah. 177.
177.
Now, just, again, this is just information for y'all. The city of Sparta is looking at this same schedule. They've already passed their first reading. Their second reading is this coming Thursday to adopt this same thing that I'm presenting y'all right now.
Are we adopting just the residential part, or we want to adopt commercial?
We're just adopting the residential. Well, we're adopting the fee schedule. We just don't do residential.
Commercial.
I mean, commercial. If we start doing commercial, it would default into the schedule that we adopted
Okay.
unless we need to.
Is,
do some adjustments.
can Brett inspect commercial?
Yes.
He can?
He says he's lacking one certificate or something.
But he'd be willing to get that if we did adopt it.
He's willing to get that, but y'all know what this, you know more about this than I do. But my understanding is he can legally go and start doing that now. He hasn't.
They give him a window to
Yeah,
take
get
his
that
class,
last
yeah,
certificate.
pass his test or whatever.
But he's far enough along that he can do commercial.
Can we,
So do we need to make a motion to
You need to
implement this?
Make a
or
motion to send full.
Send it full court?
I'll make a motion to send to full court
The
adoption of this and also potentially adopting the commercial if we get to that point.
I second it.
Well, that's,
Can we just adopt,
yeah,
can we just adopt the,
you can adopt the fee schedule and then it covers everything.
we'll adopt the fee schedule.
Just make,
Okay, we've got, there's actually two things here. You don't want to do them both fee schedule, or you want to do them separate. You got the fee schedule
An evaluation table.
and then the evaluation table.
I thought we were adopting it as one.
Yeah, I was adopting it as one.
As one.
Make sure.
This,
So I'll restate the motion.
Okay.
So we have a motion on the on the floor to adopt the, fee schedule and the valuation table as presented.
I will make a motion to adopt it as presented.
I'll second it.
All right. So we have a motion and a second. Any more discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, motion carries. All right, next item on the agenda is a resolution supporting the shared revenue of real estate transfer tax. I have that here somewhere. Basically, it's kind of a long shot. It's tax, it's already, the state's already collected, and we're we've got a resolution basically asking them to allocate half of that real estate transfer tax back to the county where it was collected on a recurring basis. Now, whether or not they will do so is another thing, but this resolution basically, resolution 114th session of the Tennessee General Assembly to allocate one half of the real estate transfer tax to the county where the tax was collected on a recurring basis. Tennessee imposes a 37-cent per $100 value for the privilege of publicly recording documents and evidencing all transfers of realty, whether by deed, court decree, so on and so forth. It's collected locally and remitted to the state, and the revenue is not made available for local officials to address needs in the community where the tax is collected. So we're asking them to give us our half of that.
What is that? Do we know what White County generates?
Yes.
What is that
So
number?
Getting our half of that, going back to the past couple of years, will be approximately $850,000 a year.
Impressive.
Yeah,
That's impressive.
It's a real estate transfer tax.
yeah.
And right now, the
Our
state
not trustee, register, collects that, and then just remits it to the state. Now, there's a process that goes, I guess it goes to trustee, she gets it directly, okay, it's paid directly to the state of Tennessee. That's, the Association of County Mayors and your Association of County Commissioners has lobbied that for that, and decided that's gonna be on their agenda for this year. It'll be talked about more, that meeting that's coming up, but it's, like Roger said, I think it's an awesome, they got this money, they have been budgeting this money for years, and just to come out and say, hey, you give me half of it,
It's pretty strong.
yeah.
I get it.
I don't see that happening, but it's worth asking.
Yeah. So I'd entertain a motion to send that resolution to full court. Motion.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any more discussion on that? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Right. Next item on the agenda is old business. Does anybody have any old business that we need to talk about?
I do.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Last month, it come out of committee, to allocate up to $5,000 to Friends of White County for, spay and neuter assistance. It came out of budget with the contingency of a match of what the city done. The mayor was on the radio this morning and said that he didn't know anything about it and he's not gonna fund it. He was on the radio. So I guess I'm asking you guys, do we wanna remove the contingency and proceed forward with what we proposed last month, just go back to budget?
So what would we need to do? Resend it to budget? No, because I don't think this committee put that contingency on.
No,
They
it was
sent
through the
to
budget. It was through budget.
I'll make a motion, the same
I'll second.
dollar amount with no contingency unless the budget committee sees fit.
Yep.
It was approved at full court. We voted in full court with the contingency, so.
Yeah, so it'll have to go all the way back through everything. Okay. So we have a motion from Commissioner Goff and a second from Commissioner White. Any more discussion on that? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. So we'll send that back to budget.
One more thing, so, we had, a budget amendment for a second full-time code person, and it failed. We were looking at going ahead and implementing that, it failed. I think there were several in this committee that opposed it. Now that the fee structure has changed, would there be a lot of opposition to run that back through budget again this month? I just feel like we need some help.
If you're going to consider commercial, it is, we're not
send that to budget for reconsideration.
I'll second that. All in favor, say aye. Any opposed? Motion carries.
I have one new business though, let me go
Okay.
into that.
Anybody got any more old business?
You wanna, move
Yes.
on to the
Yeah.
Rolling Sawmill project?
Yeah, so, I'll just let you talk about it.
I'll talk about it. We got, for the Roland Sawmill renovation, this property was donated to the historical society. So essentially, the county owns this property, and Jerry and his team has been going down there and maintaining it. It looks really good around there right now too, Jerry. The group, the Quebec Walling Community Center, had raised $10,600 to go toward a renovation here. They've spent $3,500 of that on some cleanup, so they have $7,100 left. The three quotes to build the structure around the steam engine that's still down there range anywhere between just over 17,000 to 26,000, essentially. So they are willing, that group is willing to spend the $7,100 they have on this project. So if we went with hypothetically, if we went with the lowest bid of 17,688, they would contribute 7,100 of that, and the county would be asked to do the other 10,600 or so.
And, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, we would need guidance on this committee, and we would need it sent to budget for further discussion, and then fall in with Chad to make sure we follow the.
So there was some confusion on that cleanup, because so this is property that the county owns, that was donated to the historical, White County Heritage Museum or whatever, and the county owns that property. And I was under the impression that this committee and then budget, we got bids for that cleanup, and then you had a separate group, a community group that raised money to try to build a shelter to preserve the mill for historical purposes. Somehow that cleanup money got charged out of that money that they had raised. And, because I've had a couple of them come and ask me, the quotes that we got for doing that initial cleanup where we had to cut all the trees and stuff, I thought that we had approved that out of this committee, and it went to budget and got approved for us doing that, like out of general fund. Because basically the money that they were fundraising wasn't intended, they were fundraising money to build a shelter. And I don't know where that got crossed up. And maybe you have more information, Chad, than I do.
Is this the bed that's already been donated?
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, no, so the funds were donated to the county, we restricted that and reserved it, so whenever we set that budget amendment up and did that and put their budget committee, we appropriated, the county commission appropriated that out of those restricted funds. That's the way the budget amendment read. Now, maybe I was under the impression incorrectly, and I should have drafted the budget amendment that way. And when speaking with the ladies regarding that, I told them I thought that it was kind of as broad as it's long.
Yeah, I
If we
mean,
had paid for that, then they'd have been able to kick in a little bit more on this, and we'd have a little bit less to make up,
So
that may have been.
the
my
money that the
mistake.
community group has raised has already been given to
Yes,
the
we
county.
have.
Okay,
Yes.
okay, I didn't know that,
Yeah.
okay.
and see, I
thought
I
they
guess that's
still-
what makes it, like, the difference is you're talking about the difference of us pitching in I was just proud of them for raising 10,000, they sold hot dogs and hamburgers and stuff and raised $10,000 to build a shelter over the mill down there, and now it's 7. So it's really, like you say, it's apples and apples. It's not a huge deal.
Well, one of the mistakes, I guess, if you go back, look, we never, I'm gonna say we, I haven't seen it, we never received any minutes or anything officially. I had 2 members of that group call me and say, hey,
after I interrupted you. But
No.
basically, they
And
need,
I interrupted you.
I'm good.
he's got 3 bids, and the cheapest bid is 17,688.81, so they would need about another $10,000 from the county to erect that structure. Yeah, yeah, right.
Does that lowest bid, does it meet the criteria of what we're wanting to do?
Yeah. There was a couple of local ones.
You gonna pencil one up real quick?
He's taking notes.
I thought the closest, next closest one was 24,643.
Let me see that.
I know
This one
Summertown
doesn't include
Metals does
labor.
good work.
Yeah, huh?
This one doesn't include labor.
That one?
Labor contract amount be 25, you gotta read the bottom, 25,000.
Total contracted amount.
25,188.
Okay. Yeah,
So-
that's the total.
Yeah.
So 17 for the bid.
Yeah, the cheapest one is CNC Contractors, and remodeling. It's got labor and material. The other one is 25,188.18. See, they got me a little bit confused. It says labor to install by independent contractor, 7,500 includes crane rental. Total contract amount's 20, so it'd be 25,188.18, and the other one is a little over 28,000. 24,643. So you're actually going to be,
We got about a
He
third
did say
of
the
it.
bill.
But is that, we'd have to,
As long as it's under 25, it doesn't have to be, is that, that's what I was asking, what the lowest.
your lowest was 24,643, but he said it'd be 2 years before he could do it.
He didn't
He
say
said-
2 years.
yeah, he just said it'd be a while.
And then your next lowest one's 25,188.
I don't know, you're getting that close, Chad, 24.9, what'd you say, 24?
You're within $500 of each other.
One of them is.
What was that, 24 what?
24,643 and 25,188.
$330, is that close enough to hope there's no change order or nothing?
They would,
In regulation, we just have to make sure.
this was a regular.
Exactly what they
Yeah.
everybody is.
They would come under that.
Yeah, I think so too. You want me to try, you want me to do that?
Yeah. We can work on that one. The Summertown Metals one is the one that's like $100 over 25.
Where is
25,183.
What was the size of the building?
It's big.
Got in there.
36 by 84 by 12 foot tall.
Yeah, it's got, there's like eave thing type stuff or something. No, it's not enclosed. It never was enclosed 120 years ago when it was down there solid boards.
A huge carport.
Now, being over that $188, is that gonna be,
He's gonna,
I think we'll work on that.
I just wanna caution y'all, be careful about discussing, talking to him about changing his.
Yeah.
Can it go on next month's agenda?
Yeah.
yeah.
All right.
where is
Well,
some,
I would just know
Please.
from this committee that it's worth the time and the resources to look
Yeah.
at.
where's Summertown at?
Summertown, Tennessee.
Summertown, Tennessee.
I know that, but where, I mean,
South of Shelbyville, Columbia, kind of over that way.
they're gonna do a mileage surcharge probably. So,
On top of.
on top of.
So the,
They have a delivery fee calculated in that.
It crane and everything's included, but they do have a surcharge in there that I'd be careful, I mean, I'd ask them about, I don't know what it means, I don't know if it's 75 miles one way or 75 miles here and back, I don't know, but there is a surcharge, anything over 75 miles.
We'll go with that.
Yep.
It's about 120 miles. They built a village around that.
So we'll put that back on the agenda for next month. And I guess for Kyle's purposes, we need to, is there willingness to send that to budget for consideration from this committee before there's lots of bid work and stuff done?
I'm comfortable with it.
What's your opinion? Let it bid? I mean, if you did have to bid it, would you have to have it, you wouldn't have to have the engineer design it or nothing, just.
Are we capable of providing the bid specs for that? I mean, I know you can do the procedure part, but the, 6-inch steel or 8 inches,
And I think, and I believe, I'm gonna throw something else out there too. I believe because you gotta think, if we're gonna spend money, why are we spending money, right? So, I think there's potential, they have these shows for these steam engine type things, and people bring stuff and they set up and Mike Henry is the guy around here that sets up at the fair, makes the ice cream and all that kind of stuff. They go and do that, and there's some potential. He's working some avenues to try to get the thing running again. I think, they may have had a boiler donated or something. And he's kind of working on that stuff behind the scenes too, to try to get it going. So there might be events held down there where they did steam engine type stuff. So it wouldn't be just like there's a big hunk of metal down there and you put a carport over it to keep it from completely crashing away. And I think there's some longer term.
You do have one under 25,000, that's it. And if you let it, I don't know how that's gonna work, because we've already discussed it, so.
you're a procurement officer.
Chad, since we already discussed it, and,
I think we need to move on before we get to, y'all want to fund it, put it in the budget, if not, put it with procurement for us.
Like it. I'm comfortable funding it. Or at least sending a recommendation to budget committee to have them discuss it. And that's really what we can do.
Is that a motion?
I'll make a motion to send it to budget committee to discuss building.
Have a motion.
Guess I'll say it.
We got a motion and a second to,
So we can move on.
kick the can to the
Yeah.
budget committee. All right. Any more new business?
Just take a vote on that.
Nope, I did not. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Any other new business? You wanna go first?
I have one business. I don't have a lot of detail, I'm just looking for guidance. I'm friends with the city attorney for Smithfield. They are implementing a camera system in the city school zone.
all for it. I think that's great, just for the safety of our, it's great.
That's what intrigued me about it.
Yeah.
It wasn't so much about making money off the fee,
Correct.
other than, that would take a workload off of the deputies and just.
Seems like mainly a law enforcement
Right.
thing.
So if it's, I don't really need a motion or an action other than, absolutely not, I'm not interested, or, we have to get together some more data.
I'm good with it on my end, verbally, I am. What about y'all?
Anybody else opposed to a little more research on it? Thank y'all.
All right, your turn again.
I apologize, for some reason I made 5, and there's 6 of y'all, so somebody, need to kind of share. Okay. All right, as y'all are aware, right now, 5 years ago, the county commission voted to do a 5-year reappraisal plan that's presented at the recommendation of the property assessor. That time has ended, fixed with the reappraisal, and he's, presented this plan for y'all to look at for passing another 5-year, reappraisal plan. Junior's here to answer. Junior, if you don't hear, just give him a little bit of a background on what you're doing here, and what this is.
Well, it's similar to the last plan we had in 2020. We're reviewing the whole county over the next 4 years. Got some cycles, 4 cycles. I think you get county map split up there. And at the end of the 4th cycle, that's the 5th year being our reappraisal cycle, we concentrate on determining new values based on most previous year's sales. So it's really a whole lot like the last reappraisal plan.
So basically, every 5 years, the county goes through this reappraisal of all properties, bringing up property value. A couple of things to consider is the sales ratio. That, over the past 5 years, that has really gotten off. Sales ratio comes in after the 2nd year, and then stays in effect. And then on the 4th year, it's reevaluated and adjusted again. So it's just increases. There's only 2 adjustments, sales ratio adjustments, inside this 5-year plan of reappraisal. There was talk went through Junior Assembly last year of the state considered mandated lowering that reappraisal time. But I've spoken with Junior, or tax assessor, I'm sorry, it's my first time. But he feels that, and I'm in agreement, the way property values are rising, that
while you're here, do you have insight on the numbers that we should expect to see?
We're looking around between 60 to 70% right now. So if we average 65%, say, when it's all said and done, I have to go through, informal hearings, that be between me and the taxpayer. And then after that, is that period is passed, I have to send out a second round of change notices to those folks. And then we have the 2-week appeal process through the state county board of equalization. And then after that's done and everything's decided upon, then we can see where we're at on the, percentage increase.
So what's the timeline? I haven't been here for a reappraisal before. When would that rate reach the county commission? What's the timeline?
First 2 weeks of June is when the county board meets. At the county board meets, we're done. I have done a reappraisal. We'll establish a brand new, we with the help of the comptroller, we'll establish a brand new certified, state Tennessee tax rate. And then that'll be presented to Dean Wayne and the commissioners. And like I said, when that new lower rate is given to the commission, they gotta do what they gotta do about this budget. Of course, we haven't had budget meetings with Chad yet, so we don't know what we're looking at yet.
It was July last time, after the budget.
It's just interesting, we approve our budget, you know, we always, every year I've been here, we got it done before July 1st. And we don't get our certified rate until around the time we vote on the budget. Yeah.
First week,
Yeah.
and that comes from the comptroller.
So as far as what you're looking for tonight, there's a,
Paid full court.
yeah, there's a, do we need to send it to full court?
Yeah, resolution.
Yeah. So there's a resolution basically authorizing, if you look on page 17, you'll see a copy of the resolution. And that's what the request is, to send that resolution to full court, which would establish a 5-year reappraisal cycle versus the 6-year reappraisal cycle that's,
We have
Yeah.
that 6 year long time.
but the general, what is it?
The options are 4, 5.
4, 5, and 6.
4, 5, and 6.
So what is that?
5 and 6 is gonna disappear probably by 2028.
Okay.
We'll have a 4-year option or less. To go to a 4-year or less, we have to probably increase personnel, maybe even another year to get the field review and new construction kept going. Because you're taking a 4-year plan, turning it a 3-year plan.
We did, the last one was a 5-year cycle, right?
Yes, sir.
And so this is another 5-year cycle.
I'll make a motion to send to full court.
I'll second.
So we have a motion and a second, to send the resolution to full court. Any more discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
And I'm always available anytime, guys. I'm happy to talk to you about anything. I'm sure we'll need one first.
All right, any more new business? All right, calendar update. Full court, be February 18th at 7 PM. 7 PM for full court. Next steering committee B meeting will be March 3rd, 2025, right here. Yeah, do y'all have anything before we, come on? We talked so much, I just about forgot.
Okay, I'm Monica Jacob. I know you're all thinking in terms of the future of the shelter, future plans. I'd like to talk about something that's happening right now at the shelter, day to day. For the past couple of months, we've heard a lot of conflicting comments about concerning the positions at the shelter. For example, we've heard that Mike Sparks is the director and in charge of all operations. We've heard that there is no shelter manager position. We've heard for once that there are no job descriptions for shelter employees. Then we heard there is a job description for the director. And then we've heard recently from Jennifer that there are job descriptions for all positions at the shelter and that they're presented to employees when they're hired. In light of all these conflicting comments, I finally realized maybe I just need to go to the budget and look what positions are budgeted for the shelter. And this is what I found. There are 3 positions that are budgeted for the shelter. The shelter, where am I? Okay. Oh, 3 paid positions. The shelter director supervisor, the highest paid position at the shelter. Obviously, that's Mike. He gets the highest pay. There's another position called other salaries and wages, the second highest paid position at the shelter. And then there's a position called part-time employees. Now, got a lot of corporate knowledge about what goes on day to day. And this is what we've observed over the years. For 8 years, Stephanie Smith filled the position that you refer to as other salaries and wages, a full-time, 40-hour-a-week position who's eligible for health care and other benefits. For 3 years, Sarah Lawson filled that position. For that entire 11-year period, this is what we have observed at the shelter. These two women were 100% responsible for the following: hiring, firing, training, and supervising of part-time personnel. And I can tell you there've been a lot of them come and go. That position moves a lot. They completed all intake paperwork on every dog that arrived. They maintained monthly stats to include the number of intakes, number of dogs returned to owners, adopted, sent to rescues, euthanized, and the number of dogs still on board. They ordered all supplies to include vaccinations, cleaning supplies, food, microchips, paper products, poop bags, replacement things such as hoses, and a wide variety of other equipment that was required to run the shelter. They maintained the shelter budget to include submitting the annual budget request, communicating with Esther and Chad for POs, and submitting requisition requests. They vaccinated, dewormed, and applied flea and tick treatment to every dog that arrived, and created a file on each dog documenting that initial treatment and anything other kind of follow-on treatment the dogs received. They scheduled all spay-neuter appointments for dogs that had been adopted, ensuring that we complied with Tennessee state law. They transported these dogs to and from their appointments. They made the decisions about sick and injured animals, whether they be treated at a vet or euthanized. And I might add that those that were treated, most of those the county did not have to pay for. Volunteer or donors or POPs paid for them. They were in charge of all public awareness efforts to include developing and maintaining the shelter webpage and Facebook page, and posting the dogs on nationwide pages such as Pet Finder, ensuring that our dogs got nationwide exposure. They managed all adoption efforts to include greeting and assisting visitors to the shelter who are interested in adopting a dog, coordinating with rescue groups and shelters that were willing to pull dogs from our shelter, arranging transports for those dogs, sponsoring adoption events at Tractor Supply, and working with local fosters who were willing to take in dogs, especially litters of puppies. In addition to performing all those duties, these two women were responsible for maintaining the cleanliness of the shelter to ensure a healthy environment. The first thing they did upon arriving at the shelter was to thoroughly clean and disinfect the front 16-car pens, to include emptying, rinsing, and refilling the water bowls. Food bowls were washed and collected. They also ensured that the part-time employees who cleaned the bath were doing a thorough job, providing direct supervision and direction. I could list a dozen other things that these women were responsible for doing. Both of them put in a full 8-hour day and numerous off-duty hours. Now, if you want to put the title other salaries and wages to that job that these women did for 11 years, call it what you like. But everything I've just mentioned that these women did involved management. These two women were acting as shelter managers, no matter what you choose to call it. You recognize this based on the fact that you paid them higher hourly wage than you paid the kennel cleaners. Why would you pay somebody more if they weren't responsible for more? Now, I would add that these two employees didn't need job descriptions because both were mature, dedicated employees who cared about the animals. Unfortunately, this is no longer the case. We desperately need job descriptions for shelter employees so that these people know what is expected of them. Madison was not pushed, but she was put into a job with no training, no experience, and no direction because she didn't have a job description. During the entire 11-year period that we observed Mike, who is the director on paper, acting in one capacity. He was the animal control officer. Mike responded to calls concerning dogs running at large. He responded to abuse and neglect calls. He picked up dogs when people called and said that somebody had shown up on their property and they wanted him to come get them. He also performed that very unpleasant task of euthanizing dogs. He also did minor maintenance and mowed the yard. And I'm not here to criticize Mike. That's what we all thought was his job, and that's what he was doing. He was not managing the shelter. Those two women, Sarah and Stephanie, were managing
sure that she gets a copy of her job description, please. All right, anybody else? All right, again, the calendar update, February 18th, 7 PM, full court. Monday, March the 3rd is next steering committee B meeting. I'd entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion.
Second.
Anybody want to stay? All in favor, say aye.
minutes late, and I left messages, but I didn't, nobody talked, yeah. All right, we'll call the Purchasing Committee meeting to order, and, seeing that we do have a quorum, we're legally able to conduct business, I'll entertain a motion to approve the minutes from the January 4th, 2025 meeting.
Motion.
Second.
Have a motion, properly second. Any questions, discussions, or corrections? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Minutes are approved. Next on the agenda is review the procurement procedure for the Bondycroft Utility District ARP water line project. Mr. Markham.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Chairman. Before you, we have a request for consideration of the purchasing procedures for the Bondycroft Utility District. This is our first ARP project that we're doing on the water system improvements. This is a line improvements, think along Crossville Highway. We received 4 bids on this. We had a low bidder at $442,883.75. We had 2 bidders around $615, just $300 off from each other. And then we had a high bidder at $921,000. I have in the documents that you guys had online, there's a request. We've got a request from the board at Bondycroft Utility District. We also did our own internal investigation just to vet the low bidder on this project, since we're not in the water line project, no water line industry. We would recommend that the bid be awarded to the second low bidder based on the ability of Norris Brothers Excavating and the previous history of the low bidder that we encountered in our investigation process, and also Bondycroft Utility District's recommendation to go with the second low bidder on that project. We've also attached a letter from the utility district engineer making that recommendation based on the bids received and the utility district board's recommendation as well. So,
All right, you've heard the recommendation, which is to go with the second lowest bidder.
I'm sorry, Mr. Chairman, or Mr.
Yes.
Vice Chairman. I did also want to I passed out another memorandum that I received, or that I just did today, that'll go in the procurement file. It was not online. I did receive a call today from someone representing Norris Brothers, and I provided you that memorandum there of our conversation. I told him that I would inform you of that, and so I've done so through this memorandum.
All right, you've heard the explanation for the second lowest bid, and the documentation behind why that recommendation is the way it is. And we do have a member of the board from the Water Utility District Board present, if there's any questions that want to be asked of him. If not, please will entertain a motion to go with the second highest bidder, or what is the will of the committee?
I'm proud to see that it's local company, and they're in line with the other bids. I'll make a motion to approve.
We have a motion to approve Meeks Construction, second lowest bidder for this project. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Do we have any questions or discussions on the motion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. The motion is approved. All right, any old business to come before the purchasing committee? Any new business? Hearing none on both. Any public comments, Connie? All right, hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion.
Second.
We stand adjourned.
Thank you all.
Brothers are a good outfit. We didn't approve them, we approved Meeks.
Did y'all approve?
All right, call the budget meeting to order. Chad, it looks like everybody's here except TK Austin, if it's okay to forego a roll call vote there. In the packet that you have, and it was emailed out, we had the minutes from the January sixth meeting. We'd open the floor for
Make a motion to
a
approve
motion to
minutes.
approve. We have
Second.
that from Commissioner Cranford, second by Commissioner Hutching. Any discussion on the minutes from January sixth? All in favor to approve, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Minutes are approved. We move to fiscal year '25 budget amendments. Looks like 3 that will go to the commission, 1 that will stay right here within the committee. And if it's okay with you, Mr. Markham, you can just hit all 4 of those together.
Sure. First amendment is an EMS training supplement, so this is the first year that EMS will be receiving a training supplement from the state. This is similar to something that the sheriff's department has received for many years, but based on the number of employees that met the criteria, we're looking at about 15. So we've got $12,000 appropriation from the state PC and Emergency Medical Services Training Program. The county has to pick up the benefits on this, which would be $918. So it's a total amendment of
new to us.
Yeah.
Sounds like a YMCA thing.
It's a, almost new.
And then, finally, from the general fund, and this one doesn't have to go to county commission, this one's in committee, but we're just moving some money around within the library major category, to replace the copy machine that's at the end of life there, that had that for about 9 years, and it's, worked well, and so we'll be replacing.
Thank you, Chad. Let's do the first three as a group here that's, go to the commission, the EMS and Sheriff's Department training supplements and SRO vehicles. You guys wanna, pull any of those out, or we could entertain a motion to
I
approve
make
all
a motion,
three?
send them all three to full board.
Have a motion
Second.
and a second. Any discussion?
I'd like to talk about the SRO training program. This is a grant. We're just having to supplement the Social Security and we're supplementing the additions, not the, right, is that what we're?
That's correct, yeah, so any of these training supplements, even the one that the sheriff's department gets regularly, the state just funds the $800 that the individual gets, the officer gets, and we have to make up the Social Security and Medicare on that. It isn't subject to TCRS, so we don't have to pay that, so it's just the benefits that come from the community.
So we're the $552 of that one is what we're having to fund.
That's correct, yeah, the state's funding it.
It's a small amount of money. I get hung up on the SRO thing. It's, the school system gets the money, all that money for the SROs, and we end up having to fund stuff. I get hung up on that a little bit.
Well, we get the money for the SROs, so the
But
state's
we,
money comes through us.
I guess we were funding, before the county, before the grant money come through for the SROs, the county was funding the SROs, right? We were,
No, the school system's always
system was.
funded the SROs.
even
They're
the,
funding the additional SRO for high school.
I thought there was, maybe I'm confused. I thought somehow we were funding part of it, and then the school got the grant money, and then,
No, we got the grant money. We funded, back prior, the schools funded all SROs. And I may be off here, 9 months, they're 9 months of their salary or something?
Yeah, 9 of the 12.
9 of the 12 months,
10 of the 12
or 10 of 12, or something. And then we picked up the other 2 months.
okay.
And
So we were
then-
picking up 2 months of it, and now they're,
And then the grant came in. The grant went to us, not the school system. So now we're paying the SROs through that grant, the school system's not paying anything. I say not anything, I'm sure there's maybe something,
They're paying for the second SRO.
it's paying for
not
the,
grant
they're paying for the second one, it's not grant coded yet.
Okay.
But we're buying them a car.
okay.
Did that sort of?
Thank you.
Any other discussion on any of those three? Okay, all in favor to send to the
I do have
commission?
a second on that. I'm
We did have a second
did,
from
but
Denny,
anyway.
Thank you.
Executive Robinson.
Thank you.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And then the one, Chad gave us an explanation, stays within committee, that is a new copy machine at the, White County Library.
Motion.
Have a motion
Second.
and a second. Any other discussion on that? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, and one, from the General Capital Projects Fund that will go to the commission. Mr. Martin.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So this is to appropriate out our construction portion of the Bonnycroft Utility District water line improvements. Just previously, we've just set up an engineering budget for each one of those utility districts, and this is setting up the construction line and appropriating it out based on the grant
Executive Robinson, it feels like a whole nother lifetime ago when that ARP money was a discussion. Yeah, I mean, but how does this tie in? There was 1.3 million of that, right, that was going toward water and was gonna be part of a match
There
to
was-
make a large.
There was about 4 million going towards water.
Is that after the match?
No, I'm sorry, it's about, it was 4 million. 4 million was pre-match. And we had to match, about 1 million of that, and we split that with the utility districts. And we used ARP money, we budgeted ARP money for our match, our half of the 12.5%.
But this is still that same.
This is still that same
Okay,
pot, yes,
okay.
it's still that same pot, we just have to.
That was my question too.
Yeah, okay.
It's not new.
Yeah, yeah.
It's new money that's not.
Yeah.
You know, we did this,
It's new old money.
like you say, it felt like a lifetime ago, but we have to do everything within the year that we're actually write the check, so we're kind of having to
Yeah.
redo some of this. And it's all starting to hit, so this is going to become a very common practice.
Cause we have until 26 to spend the money.
Mhm.
So this will be it then? A lot of stuff.
Or at the end of 2026.
Oh, okay.
So we got year 11, 12 months or something.
So we've had some explanations. I don't think we have a motion on the floor.
I'll make a motion.
Have a motion
I'll second.
and a second. Now, any other discussion? All right, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Amendment carries and will be sent to the full commission. All right, we move on to, is that right, Chad? Yeah.
I got stuff under new business.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Move on to old business. Does anybody have anything under old business?
That's what I say,
Yeah,
the
that's-
spay and neuter, would
that-
that be considered old
I
business?
would think the spay and
We
neuter
could do that
and
under
the
Assistant-
employee.
taken out of,
assistant to-
committee.
Yeah.
So we had the two, or three, were coming out of committee, committee B, right? Committee A did not have anything. Right? So we can take our pick where you guys wanna start with the three coming from
Sure.
committee B. Which one did you have first, Eric?
The,
You wanna start with the spay and neuter?
spay and neuter, yeah, that's what I started out with.
Okay, so this was, same discussion as we had last month. This is $5,000. It's essentially a donation that goes to Friends of White County Animals. That's a group ladies referred to tonight that's not affiliated with the animal shelter. This money would solely be spent on, the cat population, and helping with, the preventative maintenance.
We approved it last month with the
With the-
contingency that, we would match up to 5,000 with what the city done.
That's correct.
The city mayor was very vocal that, he was not ready.
On the radio
and-
this morning?
He was on the radio this
What,
morning.
what channel was it on?
It was News Talk 94.1.
Oh, 94.
He was not read in on our decision, and he was not going to fund this particular nonprofit. So, it was approved with a contingency match up to 5,000 with them, so now it's back to us. Do we want to just straight fund $5,000?
I do know, and I think either Monica or one of the ladies may have referred to it last month when this was being brought up. They do have a donor that can do a portion of a match, but I don't think that donor has the capacity to make up the entire portion that the city of Sparta, that they were asking of the city of Sparta. So I don't know if that helps us, but I do think there's another bucket of money for them to dip into.
If we fund something.
Yeah.
If we fund.
Well, I think we should fund what we were willing to fund, if it's feasible. So I say, I make a motion, we fund it $5,000, no contingency, just to the Friends of White County Animals for the cat population.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second, send
Vote
possibility
for
of,
it.
go,
How do we need to do that? We just need to run through as a new resolution?
Yeah.
so so whole new item, new resolution, going to full, commission to make a $5,000 donation to Friends of White County Animals. Any other discussion? Okay, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, that is carried, and we'll go to the, full commission. We move on to, you guys wanna do the, position
Sure.
for the, I'm sorry, let me pull my notes back up. The position for the, codes department.
So we had made a motion last month to allocate $28,000, I think was the number, to fund the position for the remainder of the year. I guess, Chad, that would drop by a month's salary now that we're a month behind.
It could, I would recommend just running it back through
just run-
28.
Yeah, can we run it back through the same way it was and then set it up? Would that be, I mean, is that what you're saying? Just,
Yeah, well, I was gonna say if you needed to, cause we are gonna have to buy a vehicle for that person and get them a computer and stuff like that that we've gotta come up with as well, so having some additional funds in there to make that happen would be helpful.
I did get the impression that the appetite is a little bit stronger now that we've tackled the fee structure and the fee
Yes.
valuation method.
Yes.
And I think it was Executive Robinson stated if we're gonna do residential, or, commercial,
Commercial.
we don't have much of an option. I think we're gonna have to pick if we're gonna do commercial or
We
not,
have to
if
do
we're
it.
gonna fund.
I make a motion, we send this to full court, that we do
So we have a motion.
reset up
Second.
this,
In a second, I just wanna make sure that's, we'll just duplicate what we talked about last month, it's
Yes, sir.
$28,000 for
fin-
the rest of
the
this
year.
fiscal year to get us through June 30th, correct? Is that okay, Chad? All right, motion and a second on the floor, any other discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, we'll also send that to full commission. And then I believe our third item is the permit fee conversation, correct?
Steam engine, I thought.
Is that-
The steam
Oh,
engine,
yeah,
now the
so do we
permit
have
fee's
four?
already there.
That's
The
done.
permit
That's
fee
going
was-
straight.
That's
It'll
going
go
in.
straight through.
That's going straight,
Yeah.
doesn't it? Does it go
Yeah.
straight to
Yeah,
full court?
it goes
Okay.
straight to full court.
Okay, so now it's the sawmill.
I would, just to give my perspective, and, you know, I'm not advocating for this. I did grow up, about a mile from that area, and I was very, I was at Tom Owen Sawmill every day, all summer when I was a kid. I do have a soft spot for it. The original, what I thought was an original number of 17,000, and the group has 7, and, you know, the county's looking at 10. In my mind, that was one thing, but now 25,000, and we're taking bids for basically a glorified carport, I guess we would say. It's a metal structure with no siding. I think that's a whole different conversation. So I would advocate that whether it's me or this group or somebody work with a group of volunteers that can tear that structure down, and that would cut our labor in half, essentially. A big portion of that quote is getting that wood that's about to collapse now out of there. And I think if we could get a group of volunteers to do that, and I think we have some community groups that would be willing to donate some lumber and some metal. That's just my opinion. It's creating more work for somebody, probably myself. But I don't feel real comfortable with moving forward with a bid process and us under the assumption it's $25,000 when we've got so many other critical needs we're talking about.
So the $25,000 proposal is tear down, part of that cost is a tear down of the structure that's there.
Yeah, and the labor's bid out, correct, separately. So you can see. I gave Connie my copy. She's shaking her head at me though.
No, it's the labor for construction.
For building.
Yeah, that's the labor for building.
I still think,
But wouldn't that not just be possible? One of them is metal trusses that would make a difference on the pipe wires or wood. So they really not got the same, I guess you say, bid.
There's a lot of similarities. If you use a all wood truss, or if you use a metal truss, then you're using 2x4 lath purlins. There's not huge difference in cost either way, I wouldn't think.
Bid says it starts out at 12 foot, then it goes to 14 foot, and then it says it has gutters. So, you know, it's kind of a ballpark of
Yeah,
structure.
It's not a uniform fee structure.
It was twofold for me. One, it was just the pride of it was donated to the county and we were letting it sit there and get dilapidated. So just the pride of doing something with the area. And then the second thing is hopefully this would eventually create sales tax revenue with the groups that want to come in and do something with the place. I just think there's the nonprofit management side of me knows there's ways to.
Is this down the path you're talking of, is this almost a Parks and Recreation?
Well, I was gonna go there in a minute. All this is great, and I'm like you, I'm not, you know, I got a soft spot there. I lived down there quite a bit of my life. But somebody's gotta maintain it after it's built, and that's where we
And
run into problems.
two,
We're not having no.
And that, the group that has some ideas down there, I think they know what they're doing, but also you gotta take into account there's gotta be parking if you're gonna have events, and who's gonna cover the cost of things like that. So I think a little bit more clear cut, and we can let the Parks and Rec. I don't think this is a long, drawn out conversation for a budget committee as far as priorities.
It sounds like we're not where we need to be to bring it to the budget at this time. I mean, I appreciate the quotes, but I'm like you, that just sounds like a lot of money for a carport.
If I may say,
Yeah.
Mr. Chairman, there may be some funds that the Heritage Museum has available that they might be able to shift over to the system. Not enough to cover that gap, but enough that there might make a
Yeah.
difference. That's the next one.
Okay.
And it being a historic thing, I don't care just trying to research some historical grants, and see if something happens. But if we go down that road, you're right, it's premature to be appropriating funds right now.
Would a project like this come out of Parks and Rec, Chad, or would it come out of the building, county building, and
I've always.
have we thought?
I've always considered it part of the Heritage Museum, similar to the Roman Sawmill stuff, but that's just from a budget standpoint. That's not necessarily from a, just taking care of this.
I say we get this on the agenda for Parks and Rec.
I mean,
Get a little bit more minute.
I see where Chad's coming from, but from the other side of it, I'm like you, I feel like if we're gonna fund it, it has to be something that's beneficial to the community, and if they're gonna do some work and get it going, they're gonna have like some kind of, shows and things that would, to me, that would fall under the Parks and Recreation side of things. My thought was, if we don't have any kind of historical grant, I don't wanna spread our $50,000 thin, anything with waste management, how they fund stuff, but it seems like an area of that funding
Is that,
possibly would be a good idea.
Is that money rolling with our fiscal year? That
Yes.
waste management? So we need to have something ready for them by June 30th to fund it.
Well, June 30th, we need to be having next year's,
Well, we gotta do something for this
this year.
24, 25, right?
Yeah. 24, 25. Yeah, that money started last July.
Yeah. And then starting July 1st, they would have a new bucket essentially.
See, that's what I'm afraid of. I'm afraid we're gonna end up losing. We're gonna miss this opportunity, because they was pretty blunt about it. They was like, we're not gonna beg you to spend it, so, but if you don't, it's gone until next year, you get next year.
And from my conversation,
If you do 100,000, do one day, June 30th, July 1st?
In theory, what you're saying, yes, it can't be that, because they gotta have time, this gotta go up to their chain of command, so that will take more than a day, but, May, could you decide to do something and then finish it in July? Yeah, I mean, theoretically, you could.
That's a good thought. Just another.
That's another
That's a really good avenue to kind of consider.
But again, you're hitting the nail on the head. We need a plan, parking.
If we build a structure and then it sits there for 2 years, we haven't accomplished anything.
We haven't accomplished
Steam
anything.
taxpayer dollars.
And there's going, spent on it, it's gonna have to be open to the public. It can't just be for the steam engines. Per se, I would feel like we would need to be, somebody wants to have their birthday party down there or something,
It's almost like walking the field with the baby,
Yeah.
covering the sports park.
Well, I think that,
That's kind of like the rock house, right? You can have birthday party rock house, can't you?
Let's stay like this, we don't own it, we just own around it.
We own everything but it, right?
We own everything but that.
Well, if I start talking about steam engines, I'm automatically, right off the bat, I'm not signing off on any of the expertise, but I've been told there's only that type of steam engine, there's only 2 or 3 in the state, I suppose.
I thought he said it was, that's the only one in the southeast or something.
It could
say
be,
that's
I mean,
what I
I'm.
was thinking.
I was thinking it was like the only one in the whole southeast.
Yeah,
I've,
like,
they've led me to
2 or 3 in
believe
the
that
country,
it
maybe.
would be
Yeah.
a popular attraction. I don't know, it's just not an area I'm familiar with, but apparently there's something I think Chad's right. But anyway, I think we could spend less time on it as a budget committee and get it in the personnel. Is that okay with this committee?
Sounds fantastic.
Old business, did you have something else, Dave? Is that it? And Chad, that's all from A and B, correct? And, Mr. Executive, I was just gonna ask you about the opioid abatement money. I did read your newspaper article, which I thought was really good.
Very good.
Right. And I was just gonna ask you if there's been any movement.
We've not really had any movement, I've talked to several more, that article apparently has, got some people winning the money. I've had lots of calls about that. I've spoken, had numerous conversations with our judge. I've spoken with someone from the school system, that they've got I'm starting to get some good, actually some people give me some thought process behind what they're wanting to do. So I don't know if you'd call that movement or not. I've not wrote a check, but it's looking good, promising.
Any other old business? New business, we do have new business coming from Mr. Mark.
Just something, I'm not really want you guys to take, action on tonight, but if you recall, last budget cycle, we appropriated $28,000 to replace a certain portion, I think it was half of the toilets, in the jail. And they were trying to go down to a smaller size, so that they couldn't get stuff down in there. They found a solution where they may not have to replace the toilets themselves. There's a few of them that still need to be replaced, but it might not be a wholesale change, but it's an electronic system that hooks into the existing, water system on those, that, it can tell if it's been flushed so many times, then it cuts off the water, within a certain period of time. It regulates the water and can do what they're wanting it to do. And also, detect, leaks and stuff like that, sooner. It's gonna be about the same in total cost as it would have been. We're looking at about $50,000, $60,000, which we were looking at 28 this year, and I think we're looking at 28 again next year, just to replace the toilets themselves. But we would need to do this all in one project and bid it as one project instead of, buying half the toilets now and half the toilets later.
Were any of the toilets replaced in this?
Yes, we've already got $28,000 set aside.
Yeah,
So
so
we
haven't.
we haven't done it.
Okay.
No,
They haven't.
we've talked about it, and they've been talking about it, and then they found this, and they got one of these, the company come and demoed it, and has one in there working right now that they've been able to test out and stuff, and so they feel like that this would meet that, need that they have. I just wanted to bring it to you guys, because if we go through the bid process and do
would do an amendment to the, or we would take back the $28,000 we allocated this year because it's allocated for that that's not been spent.
Well, we would use that, plus we would
Plus-
allocate additional of what we had intended
Yeah.
probably of allocating this year.
Yeah,
Is
yeah.
that something that theoretically can be even done this fiscal year? Or will it end up being rolled over to the next budget year and just appropriating it all then?
Well, we would, it probably wouldn't be completely done by the end of the fiscal year, but we would hopefully at least have the items on order, by
Okay.
June 30th, and have the PO. I do wanna say, this is something, this system, and I asked Bobby to have it quoted this way, this system, this is just the components. So this is him going in and him putting in the components himself. He feels confident that he can do that. If you wanted, I had him price it with the company coming in and doing the labor, and it was like an additional $40,000.
Does us and labor ourselves, like, affect the warranty or anything like
I
that?
guarantee you it will.
I mean, what
So-
would the warranty be if, do you know the?
I don't
I'm
know.
sorry, ma'am.
I don't know right offhand,
I expect you to.
So you're if I'm understanding, you're retrofitting the current system that we have. And it's gonna be about the same money as all new units?
It's just because they were just replacing the toilets themselves.
But it's only the same cost because we're not doing the labor, or we're not paying the labor, essentially, right? Is that the way?
Well, we would be replacing the toilets ourselves, I mean, because they're these stainless steel toilets,
Mhm.
combo things.
Right.
So this is just a system that goes behind the wall and connects to the water system, so it can tell how often something gets flushed. If it's flushed so many times within a certain period of time, it cuts the water off and notifies somebody that.
Okay.
So it's more of an electronic system. You know, my concern was going this route and us just having not the ability, but the manpower to put it in and do it all. So that's why I had him quote it for the additional $40,000
So it's around the same price?
We're retrofitting we're buying components to retrofit what we already have, and some of that already needs to be replaced. I guess I'm wrestling the idea of, if it's about the same money, why not have all new?
Well, you can get the new things, but it doesn't have, it just has, they were going to a smaller diameter in the hole in the toilet
Okay,
versus that wouldn't have this capability.
that wouldn't have this I see what you're saying.
But the thinking is it would preserve the longevity, is that, and we wouldn't have to cross this bridge again soon, is that part of? Yeah.
Well, yeah, I think
Saving on
the objective
water.
of having I think their objective was to keep them from flooding the stalls. And having something smaller where they couldn't get nothing down there to stop it up, would keep that from happening. This, limits the amount of flushes you.
It manually monitors.
Yeah, you're not gonna change the toilet, so you're still gonna have the regular, but, if they start putting stuff in there and stopping it up and start flushing it to get to flooding, the system will kick it off, you can't flush, I'm making this number up, you can't flush it but 3 times within 5 minutes or something, I don't know, where it keeps it from flooding again. I'm still stuck on the demo, I've never heard of a demo toilet before,
Well, it's not a toilet.
Oh,
The component that goes behind the wall.
Okay.
And I just wanted to bring this to you guys before we went through the process of bidding this out.
I forgot we're being
Get
recorded.
y'all's thoughts on it, and, if you want more information, because this is something that you guys would need to appropriate some additional funds for.
I just assumed the 28,000 already been spent, because at budget time last year, I thought they was just broke down and beat up and they just had to be replaced. That's interesting, we went a whole nother year without
But
allocating the funds and not being spent to repairs, replace.
But I'm sure Bobby's actually seen it and talked to them and everything, so I'm glad to ask him to come or whatever we need to do.
Yeah, let's ask him.
need more information, I think so.
Yeah, can you get him to show up and talk to us about it?
Yeah,
You can go over and borrow that, when they're
ahead and float right on through. Us do it myself. We're allocating the money.
But
Things get hung
I
up
think
in.
you need to consider labor. I don't like the idea. I mean, I'm sure they're capable of doing it, but I'm telling you, the first time one doesn't work and you call them and say, hey, this ain't working and we got a flooded jail cell, they're gonna be like, well, ours is working. That's been how you put it in.
All right. Well, Chandler, that number could be part of it, but if you decide like an item we would budget for it.
Yeah, I mean,
For
if y'all,
26?
if y'all would rather push it to that, we can certainly do that, and they can.
Or are you just thinking like the same, like we could go ahead and, because that 28's on the table?
Yeah, I mean, so here's,
You were
they,
looking to do it before.
yeah, they come to me wanting me to do a bid for this, for this system, and I knew that we were gonna have to get more money appropriated, so that's why I wanted to bring it to you guys before we went through the bid process, and.
They couldn't scratch up $28,000 from selling the 42,000 guns they sold this year, or seizures or anything. There's nothing in the.
I've not looked at that. That's why I wanted to talk to you guys first. To see what your thoughts were.
I'd just like more information.
Yeah, I would too.
And, we have one more item, Chad, that's the school federal projects fund. And I think you included that in the package.
No, actually, that was not, no, sir. But well, it's in the packet that you got in front of you, it's
Yeah,
not
it's
the one that was emailed out. Yeah, so this is on the back page, this is a $5,014.85 amendment to the out-of-school time career pathways grant. For this is vocational education program or career technical education program. It's a federal grant, we're moving, funds out of in-service staff development, vocational construction equipment, to other charges, so they can be able to purchasing materials, that is not considered, in the equipment or in-service category. So the state monitors these federal grants pretty closely about the categories that certain items are used, and so, or certain, account codes that are used, and they get pretty particular on which account codes that we use for this, and so they want us to move this into other charges, so it can be used for that grant program.
And this is with school board approval?
It's contingent upon that, or needs to be contingent.
I make a motion to send this to full board contingent on school board approval.
Motion
Second.
and a second. Any other discussion?
This goes full court? Okay, I thought so.
I think you,
Yeah.
I think
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't catch pick that.
That's-
No, it doesn't. I'm sorry, I didn't pick
I
up.
thought that, I'm sorry, I thought that's what it said. I thought it had to be. All right, well then I'll amend my motion to.
How about we just make that?
All right, there you go. Make a new motion to approve this contingent on school board approval.
Second.
motion and a second. Any other discussion? All in favor say aye. Opposed? Any other new business? Hearing none.
Motion to adjourn.
Audience? You do? Come on up. Make sure you introduce yourself.
You were talking earlier about the $50,000 that Waste Management, since we've got to spend that pretty fast, can we not spend that on bathrooms at the park? Or, this is another thought too, the $31,000 to fix the ball field, is that supposed to come out of this, or is it gonna be a?
That is addition above and beyond is what we are to the understanding of, separate from this.
Right, so you could take the $50,000 and just put it all into the bathrooms and upgrading the stuff down there, and that way we've got more time to work on this one. I also have another comment, how's the health department coming?
Waiting on, architects to give us the, bid specs. If I'm not mistaken, I think that was the same answer last month, wasn't it? Did you ask last month? Yeah, we're still waiting on that. I don't know if it was you or not, but somebody asked me, but we're still waiting on the bid specs. Everything's done on our end, just waiting for the bid specs, we can put out the bid.
Thank you.
motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.